Okay, plot twists. Sure. This is an odd chapter. So again, this is one of those things about series when they're really fresh. 9 chapters in is like a good obvious number for. This is the name that I'll get one day. Doron Dororon. I'm gonna just I think what I'll have to do is just say it slowly so I don't fumble over myself whenever I try and pronounce it. But doing good so far. Getting good rankings in the table of contents from what I've seen, and the people's opinion, at least online on the series, is starting to turn around, and I enjoy that. But this chapter was very strange because I didn't expect this plot twist. Like I didn't guess this at all. At no point did I guess, oh yeah, an actual boss character is hiding behind, hiding inside of this other boss character that was the one that was related to plot that people thought was going to be big. It's like everybody's like, oh, he's already fighting this thing that killed his mom. The series is gonna, probably get axed, and all that kind of stuff. But clearly, this dude wasn't even that important. Because I brought up in my, I think it was, I don't remember, if it was the last review or the review before, just the idea that even though that one might have been what dealt the killing blow to his mom, it doesn't mean that it was the Mononoke in charge of organizing that entire big event that led to his mother's death, because that was some big calamity, if I remember correctly. There was other stuff involved that was going on for everybody. It wasn't just going on for Dora. So right now, the chapter begins, it starts up, he cuts off the back of that big spider bully yokai. And it seems okay. There's hype stuff. The girl characters talking about their supernatural powers and stuff. Main character things, I would assume. And even though they cut a good chunk of it off, it's still alive. They're saying its supernatural energy will dissipate soon. And then you see a creature ripping out of it. You just see these fingers pop out and then start ripping in half. And this is what he's actually talking about. He's actually getting hurt by it. I would assume. Unless it's he got cut, and I imagine that hurts, but I assume getting part of your body cut off isn't nearly as painful as someone literally ripping you open from the inside out. I really wonder how that works. Is this guy? It's obviously I don't know all the Mononoke. I don't know. It's the same with yokai. There's a million of them, so it's I know a handful. I don't know all of them. This guy with these cool shadow snakes coming out of his back. This guy, for one, looks cool. He's got a badass design, simplistic yet really neat. And again, he just came out of nowhere. This is something we didn't have any information on in the series, and we didn't know this was going to be a thing. It seems like everybody there is really perplexed and unsure of what's going on. I will say, I mentioned before, I really like the energy art style of this series, the whole supernatural energy, how it has that kind of brush style. I don't know exactly what it's called, but it just looks really cool. And they're trying to figure out if it's a human or a Mononoke. I'm guessing it's kind of like Iran cars with bleach. There's either just ones that are humanoid that are just way higher up on the ladder, or maybe it's an evolution thing. Eventually, if you get so powerful, you become something like this. So cats one of them. But outside, the guy seems a little silly so far. I mean, he's got a goofy side to him. He doesn't come off as just pure evil bad guy. And he's oh, did that thing eat you? But he's no, I was sleeping inside it. It's good to burrow inside of things to keep warm and to sleep. And he's freaking out because he's a human. He's looking around realizing he's in the human world. I'm wondering if it's he was resting inside of this creature and that was his plan to get over here. Maybe his people of his level, it's harder for them to get across into their world or something. So we could maybe have some form of big hype thing coming eventually, but we know about them. Maybe it's oh, well, Mononoke are dangerous, but these ones, anytime one of these guys show up, it's going to be a problem. And say they also have a big organization, but we don't know the full plot of the story. What if they have a ton of them and they want to invade, but it's it's harder for them to cross over. So it's they're only able to do it in smaller amounts. But it would be in a style that the boss fight would we would know the situation just by how the boss fight is introduced, but it would come at a pace that it'd be easier to digest people coming over and being fought as they show up. It would just really depend on what the plan would be and how the mangaka like styles it, because obviously like a plan like that could it could feel like villain of the week. It just really depends. There's a bunch of stuff, obviously the series we have no idea. We're only 9 chapters in. There's clearly a lot of lore and large scale stuff we have absolutely zero information on. Thing is, like, these humanoid Mononoke seem to be like an extra new thing that they've got going on. I do really like his cats. I do really like his like attack style. Like all these weird shadowy snake things have like an energy blast in their mouth, and I really like the art style that he did with it, because it looks like he did some like digital artifacts or something with it. I don't know, but it just looks neat. It's a neat little additional effect on top of that. He seems cool. He's like, he's like looking around trying to find where the biggest human city is. I'm guessing he wants to raise and cause havoc. So he goes to shoot like a big blast at the. Again, I don't know the female lead. Like, that's probably the only things right now that I need to get branded into my head for this series. Is what is this female character's name? I'm all right with her. She doesn't seem bad so far, but like there just hasn't been anything that made her memorable enough to me. So I have no reason like for her name to stick in my head. I'd like to get to something where we can start seeing her character, but maybe that'll be after it, because this is a little bit main character focused time. She helped, but it's clearly not her scene. They don't really even fully withstand the attack. It looks like they're just kind of blasted. Like there's these buildings all behind them that are all destroyed. I wonder if like there's gonna. Oh yeah, I was gonna say that. I wonder if there was gonna be casualties, but I was like, I just looked at the speech holes behind it, and it looks like there's like people freaking out and stuff. Understandably so. Dora is just like pretty damaged. It looks like Kusanagi's down too. I don't really see either of them getting back up outside of like regular attacks. Like they already had their main character big moment, so I don't imagine they're gonna win. On top of that, they're hurt, and this guy's like fine. This guy's like fully fresh getting into this fight, like, and he's like put Dora in a serious situation with just like his starter attack, just like his base kind of like going into battle. That's when we get like this other character, this samurai. Well, they're samurai by job. The female chick calls him a samurai officer. I was guessing we were going to see one of those elite samurai, but maybe that's what we're going to be kind of building up to. We're going to see characters before that row, and then eventually we're going to see him. Like maybe we're going to see characters more in the same kind of like general range as this female lead, but obviously way higher up in that respective ladder, but just hasn't gotten to those elite samurai, because they're the ones that are like the big hype as far as we know. There's only I mean, with the whole pyramid design, I would assume just by the nature of that there's going to be way less, but probably just like a handful of characters at that level, just based off of the general things in series. When you have like kind of groups like that, you can do the super elite ones, they're going to be crazy. This guy though, he looks cool. Nothing too wild on his design, at least so far. We only really get to see a little bit of him. He's got a sword. He's got like apparently like what looks like a 2-color hairstyle. He's got like a coat on. There's nothing really that we can make out of this samurai guy yet. Right now, it's just kind of like small amounts of what the 3 panels he was in. So we'll see. I like where this is going. I thought this was a good chapter, pretty solid, a really nice turn. One of the things I mentioned about this series is it really needed to get to some form of plot point that it's like, story is going on. It's not just kind of character introduction and build up, which is, it's fine, but obviously like it's got to get to a point where it would, be introducing events to the story and for stuff to kind of like actually pay attention to, and that you have to really kind of pay attention to in order to grasp how events are going down. Otherwise, it just feels like it's nothing story. But this chapter, we did get something that I think is what's pushing it in that direction. So I'm looking forward to this next chapter. I thought this was a good one. And again, as I mentioned, this is a chapter that seemed to kind of turn a couple of heads for the series. And I'm hoping that, that can continue. Maybe we can get a couple more cool bad guys. Maybe the main character can do a cool main character power thing, or get like a sick new sword or something. I don't know. I mean, we're only 10 chapters in, but I think he like 10 chapters in, like to kind of like get it to that, past that action point, giving your main character some form of small upgrade. Don't give them like some crazy full end form, but some form of extra boost, some form of upgrade even early. And it's nice. It's something that I think that they can all kind of like see that first step in progress, and then obviously spread out like steps like that later on. But anyway, other than that, no, comment below. Thumbs up the video, or from the like and subscribe button. Tell me about your thoughts about this series. And outside of that, appreciate it. Subscribe. Thank you all for listening. Bye.